Hey there, it's Max. This is the Spokane Cyber Cup solution guide for the 6th year, and we're going to talk about the slide rule challenges. In particular, we're going to talk about how to do division. Like multiplication, there are two unique cases. With multiplication, there was wrapping and non-wrapping, and in this case, there is the same. There's wrapping and non-wrapping, otherwise known as regular and underflow, and I'll probably use that terminology from here on out. Now, multiplication and division are just the inverse of each other. So practically it ends up being pretty similar when you're doing division. And I think it's fairly intuitive. So, for instance, we're going to do the non-overflowing one first because it's a little bit easier. So to do this, we need to move the cursor to the number we want to divide by. So for instance, we want to do 8 divided by 2. So we have hope you guys can see that. We have the cursor, the hairline on 8. Now we want to move the C scales number all the way to there. So now we have the 4. So we have the divisor and the divisee. I'm actually not sure. I don't remember what that's called. And if we look at the left index, we'll notice that there's a 2 there, which is exactly correct. We do the same thing with 91. Let's just do fun square. We'll do 81. That doesn't work. That doesn't work because I think you need wrap there, but we'll do 6 divided by 3, or 6 divided by 2. Do something different. So we're going to put the cursor on the D scales number, and then we're going to move the C scale over to that. So now the 2 and the 6 line up, so the divisee and the divisor. And if you go to the D scale, where the left index is at, we'll notice there's a 1 here, or sorry, a 3, which 6 divided by 2 is 3. Perfect. So that's simple division. Now we're going to do underflowing division. The classic example is 18 divided by 2, which is 9. If we try to do that here, so we're going to do 18, which should be 1.8, divided by 9. And we look at the index goes off the page. This is because it's underflowing a little bit. It has less numbers than we need. So there's a different strategy for this. Like before, we put the cursor here, but now we use the other index. So we want to do 18 divided by 9. So we're going to do that. 18 divided by 9. And now we look at the right index instead of the left index. You'll notice that the right index right here is now 2, which is the correct answer. So to recap on that last one, we want to move the cursor to the number we're dividing by. But if it's going to underflow, then we look at the right index. If it's not underflowing, then we look at the left index. So let's do a different number. Let's do 40 divided by 5. So we have the 4 there, we talked about. Actually, does that work? 40 divided by 5. If we look over there, it's off the chart. So we need to look at the other index. So 40 divided by 5 is going to be 8. That's another example of that. Cool. So to recap, if we're doing division in the regular case, we look at the left index. And if we're doing the underflowing case, we look at the right index. It's just like multiplication, but except of moving the index to the spot, we're moving the number we're dividing by to the cursor, which is a little bit different. But yeah, well, you've gotten through basic multiplication, more complicated multiplication, division, and more complicated division. So now you get to put all those skills together and solve for one more.